Hi, and welcome to CN News. We are so excited to share all the interesting news on topics like interesting diseases, animals, events in history, and sports. Nate, are you ready to buckle up and ride this roller coaster of exciting facts?
Yes, I am. The first story that we are going to talk about is a sport called futsal. Did you know that Brazil won the first 5 out of 7 futsal world championships?
Wow.
Here is Micah. He's going to tell us more facts about futsal. Take it away, Micah.
Did you know that futsal is the most popular sport in Brazil? Also, futsal is huge in all South America countries. Hope all these facts on futsal make you want to learn more. Did you know that futsal started in South America? The game is loved by most Brazilians. The word futsal came from the words football, soccer, and sala, room. Brazil won the first 5 out of 7 world championships. That's insane. The first pro comp was in 1965. Now let's talk about the rules of futsal and how it works. Futsal is a form of soccer, but on a basketball court. There are 5 players on each team. Some of the rules are you only have 4 seconds to kick the ball in. Also, the goalie gives the ball to them, they can't give it back. It has to go over half court. There are a few futsal rotations. One rotation is the Y. In this one, you work the ball around the court in a Y shape. Another one is the butterfly rotation, where you move the ball in a butterfly shape. Lastly, we will talk about the positions. Pivot, aka striker, ala, aka winger, and fixo, aka defender. In the end, futsal is an interesting sport. Hope you now know more about futsal and want to play it.
That story was so cool.
I know. I want to play futsal.
I know, right? If you think that's interesting, next we're going to talk about football. Did you know that football wasn't always played by running? Next, Gabe is going to tell you more facts about football. Now over to Gabe.
Do you want to learn about football? Then you're in the right place. Here you will learn about history, facts, and rules. The game was first played with kicking. Then a kid tucked the ball under his arms and ran across the field. Football began in the mid-1800s. Later, in 1920, professional football began, but football was still behind baseball in popularity. In 1966, the NFL and AFL joined together and created the NFC and AFC you see today. Since then, the final game of the season where 2 teams, one from the NFC and one from the AFC, played each other, and that game was called the Super Bowl. And that is the end of history. Now time for the facts of football. Before, Greeks played a type of football called harpistone. Modern versions were known in the 12th century. Football is a game with 2 teams that play each other, each of them having 11 players on the field at once. The first professional game was played in the U.S. in 1895. Intercollegiate football began on November 6, 1869. A few years later, in 1894, Intercollegiate Football Association was dissolved. And that is all for the facts. Now time for football rules. The offensive team has 4 chances to get the ball across the goal line for 6 points. The team that has the most points at the end of the game wins. If the team fails to get the ball across the goal line, they can still score 3 points. A football game is 4 quarters with 15 minutes in each quarter. Referees watch if any plays go against the rules. A play ends when a defensive player tackles an offensive player with the ball or brings them to the ground. And that is all for football. Remember, no team can have more than 11 players on the field. And remember, don't do any plays that are against the rules.
I never knew that much about football.
That was so amazing.
Our next story is about the Boston Celtics. Did you know the Boston Celtics have 17 NBA championship wins? Now I will tell you more about the Celtics. Have you ever been to a Celtics game? Paul Pierce was an amazing Celtics player. He made 10 All-Star teams. If you want to learn more interesting facts about the Boston Celtics, here is more information. Why don't we start with the history of the Celts? The Boston Celtics franchise was created in 1946. The first 3 years they played was in the BAA, Basketball Association of America. The Celtics joined the NBA before the 1949-1950 season. Their first championship was in the 1956-1957 season. Now let's move on to the famous players. Bill Russell and Larry Bird are some of the most iconic Celtics players in the history of the franchise. Bill Russell is the greatest center in Celtics history. Bill Russell has been on the Celtics for 13 seasons since 1959 to 1969. He was born on February 12, 1934. He grew up in Monroe, Louisiana, USA. He became a Hall of Famer in 1975. Larry Bird was an excellent forward. He played 13 seasons with the Celtics. He was born on December 7, 1956. He was raised in West Baden, Indiana, USA. He became a Hall of Famer in 1998. He has 3 NBA championships. But last but not least, the team stats. In all, Boston Celtics have 17 championships, 21 conference championships, 24 Hall of Famers, 53 of playoff appearances, 67 NBA seasons, and 21 retired jerseys. To conclude, that was the history, famous players, and team stats of the Celtics. If you are ever in Boston, you should go see a Celtics game.
That was so interesting.
I know, because I wrote it.
Now, this story is about 9/11. Did you know that Homeland Security helps prevent further terrorist attacks? Now Stella is going to tell you more about 9/11. Over to you.
Thank you, Claire and Nate. Do you want to know about September 11th? It's such a sad story, but it's so interesting to learn about. Ground Zero is where the Twin Towers fell. On September 12, 2001, after the World Trade Center fell and the rubble was cleaned up, we now call it Ground Zero. Ground Zero was not cleaned up until December 2001. 3 months? Wow, that's a long time. The rubble also burned for months after. A lot of helpers died or got seriously injured. More than 350 firefighters, police, and paramedics died. And even ordinary citizens did too. So sad. George W. Bush also helped address the news on television. Aren't you happy that the world is okay now? The first 2 planes hit the Twin Towers in Lower Manhattan in New York City at 8:46 and 9:03 a.m. The planes crashed into the World Trade Center. Osama bin Laden leaded 19 hackers, and the 19 hackers boarded 4 Boston, Massachusetts planes and took control of the planes. Following September 11th, the U.S. government established the Department of Homeland Security. They put security in all U.S. airports to help prevent further terrorist attacks. So we talked about what Ground Zero is, the helpers, the cities and planes, and after the cleanup. I hope you like learning about September 11th. See you next time.
She answered so many of my questions, but I still have more.
Same here.
Now let's talk about type 1 diabetes. Did you know that type 1 diabetes is the 6th leading cause of death? Sophia is going to tell you more about type 1 diabetes. Take it away, Sophia.
Thanks, Claire and Knight. T1D stands for type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is a very serious disease. There are 2 sets of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Diabetes is the 6th leading cause of death. Here are some things about type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is when your body attacks itself and that causes your pancreas to stop making insulin. Insulin is a chemical that normally controls your level of glucose. Then your blood sugar cannot get into cells, which means you have to take insulin shots daily and manage your glucose levels. It usually occurs when you're a kid, teenager, or young adult. Type 1 diabetes can cause significant damage to every part of a person's body. Type 1 is less common than type 2. More than a third of all people worldwide do not know they have it. Some symptoms of type 1 diabetes are having to go to the bathroom a lot. Some people with diabetes might even feel more tired than they usually do. Same thing with dry skin. Even more symptoms are extreme hunger and thirst, feeling really weak and maybe even lightheaded. Sometimes not even hungry at all. Symptoms can take only months or weeks to start appearing. However, they can take months or years to be noticed. But once appeared, the symptoms could be severe. Type 1 diabetes and type 2 have similar symptoms. Here are some tips about living with type 1 diabetes. First, always bring diabetic items like glucose pills, juice, needles, and insulin. Always recognize signs if low or high. It helps if you store your supplies. It would be better if you eat healthy. Managing your mental health is very important. To manage your mental health, you can go to diabetes supporting groups and camps. In conclusion, always bring diabetic items and manage your mental health. Type 1 diabetes is the 6th leading cause of death. Diabetes is not easy to live with. Maybe if you see someone with type 1 diabetes, you can help them.
That was a lot of information.
Now let me tell you about huskies. One husky ate through concrete to escape. Now let me tell you more about huskies. Have you ever heard the name Balto? Well, if you have not, let me tell you about him. Balto was a famous husky that saved thousands of people dying of a bad illness. Huskies are a breed of working dog that originated in northeastern Siberia, where they were mainly used as sled dogs, watchdogs, and also as pets. In the 20th century, Huskies were imported to Alaska, where it has since been used as a sled dog. But what's crazy to me is that at one point there were 10 different names for the types of Huskies. Today, Huskies only have 4 different names for the types. Speaking of the 4 types of Huskies, let me tell you about them. First is the crossbreed. Crossbreed Huskies are the result of native northern dogs with outside dogs. Then there is Alaskan Huskies. Alaskan Huskies are Indian dogs of interior Alaska and Canada. There is also Siberian Huskies. Siberian Huskies were introduced to Alaska from Siberia. They look a lot like Alaskan Huskies, but they act very different. Lastly, there is the Eskimo. The Eskimo is the native dog of the Arctic coastal regions. Fun fact, the Eskimo is called the Greenland Husky. Since I told you about the 4 different types, I will tell you about the looks of the 4 different types of Huskies. First is the crossbreed. The crossbreed's looks depend on what it is bred with. The Alaskan Husky. The Alaskan Husky is relatively thin with slender legs, brown eyes, and a medium-length soft coat that varies in colors like white to brown and gray to black. Alaskan Huskies usually weigh 30 to 65 pounds. Siberian Huskies. Siberian Huskies look a lot like Alaskan Huskies, but blue eyes are more common in the breed. Eskimo. The Eskimo is large, powerful, and usually weighs 70 to 90 pounds. It looks a lot like the Siberian Husky and the Alaskan Husky, but differs in its bulkier frame and its longer, coarser coat. Now let me tell you about how they act. Huskies are escape artists. They are known for escaping from almost anywhere. They can dig under fences, they can jump over fences. They are really strong dogs. Huskies do not bark. Instead, they howl. They are very vocal dogs. Huskies are also happiest with other dogs or people. They are very social dogs. Now that I've told you about how beautiful, loyal, and friendly Huskies are, do you want to get a Husky?
Wow, now I want a Husky.
I know, I want a Husky too.
We're going from cute fuzzy animals to scary fuzzy animals. Some spiders can be up to 7.5 inches wide. Jackson is going to tell you more about spiders. Take it away, Jackson.
Did you know that spiders are arachnids? That means they have 2 body segments and 8 legs. Now let's start off by talking about spiders by talking about their life cycle. The life cycle of the spider is not that different from the human one, if you think about it. Life cycle of a spider goes like this: egg, baby, and adult. The life cycle is not that different from the human one, see? The ones that are in the human one are not in the spider one are kid, teenager, and grandparent. The spider is an 8-legged arachnid with fangs and venom glands in them. Spiders are also arthropods. Did you know that some spider species don't actually build webs? Some spiders, like the tarantula or trapdoor spiders or the bird-eating spiders, are golomorphs, the hairy ones. Arachnids have a combined head and thorax. The inside of the spider consists of a midgut spinneret, a silk gland, a book lung, a heart, a sucking stomach, a brain, and a venom gland. The spider's anatomy is a very important part when talking about the spider. The spider has a similar body structure to the scorpion: 2 body segments, 8 legs, and a cephalothorax. So now you should know a little bit more about spiders. Spiders have very interesting anatomy and have different features than most animals.
That was terrifying.
Thank you for joining us on this ride. If you liked those stories, you should stick around and listen to the other stories. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm
Lauren.
Ryder, and we are Hamster News. Today we have our mascot, Hammy the Hamster, joining us.
To kick things off, we have some amazing facts from Raymond. Right, Ryder?
Yes, Raymond is sharing about velociraptors. Take it away, Raymond.
The Velociraptor is one of the coolest, fastest, and smartest dinosaurs. It took down all sorts of dinosaurs before disappearing. Some call it the swift robber, and now you can learn more about it. Do you know what a Velociraptor looks like? It might surprise you, the movies don't have everything. A Velociraptor is about half the size of a human, but is 6 feet long. Instead of all scales, Velociraptors actually have feathers to help with temperatures. The Velociraptor has a large claw on each foot along with 2 smaller ones, and has 3 claws on its hand. Its skull is flat and its tail helps it balance. The Velociraptor has to eat food, but it's not the biggest or strongest dinosaur, so its options are limited. It especially lives in only one part of the world. The Velociraptor lived in the Cretaceous period, so the world isn't what we are used to. It lived in what we call Central Asia and the Gobi Desert. The Velociraptor eats small mammals and small herbivores, but small animals aren't always enough. If a larger dinosaur kills a dinosaur, a Velociraptor might get it. There are so many cool facts about the Velociraptor, but do you know them all? First, the Velociraptor has been found with its wishbone, proving that the Velociraptor is most likely related to birds. The Velociraptor lived 99 to 65 million years ago. That was before the first humans. The first skull and claw were found in the Gobi Desert and a complete skeleton of the raptor fighting a Protoceratops, a common herbivore where it lived. I hope you learned a lot more about Velociraptors. It's my favorite dinosaur. The skills it used to survive make it dangerous and awesome.
Wow, I didn't know that Velociraptors were so cool.
I know. Next up, we have
Evan sharing about Randy Moss.
No, Randy Moss, the football player.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
You really need to learn about Randy Moss, which is exactly why we have Evan here. Kick it off, Evan.
Thank you, Ryder and Lauren. Randy Moss was born on February 13th, 1977 in Rand, West Virginia. He went to DuPont High School. In high school, Moss played football, basketball, baseball, and track. When Moss played football, he played in a lot of positions, such as kicker and punter. He also won a lot of awards in 2009. Moss named one of the 50 greatest high school football players in Parade magazine. Moss went to Marshall University in West Virginia. He could have gone to Notre Dame or Florida State University, but he made some poor choices and he was rejected by those colleges. Moss set many records for Marshall University. He also ran the 200 meter in 25 seconds and 15 milliseconds at the Southern Conference and the Indoor Track Championship. He was a freshman. Moss did not do his senior or junior year of college. Instead, he went to the NFL draft during the tryouts. One scout said Moss was the most gifted prospect in football history. Moss was selected by the Minnesota Vikings 21st overall pick. He made the Vikings have the best offense. Moss made the Vikings almost make it to Super Bowl 33 in 2007. Moss was traded to the Patriots during his first year of the Patriots. Moss had 98 catches for 1,000 yards, 1,493 yards, highest yardage total in Patriots history. Moss made a Super Bowl 42 with the Patriots. After they won the Super Bowl, Moss stayed with them till 2010. He went back to the Minnesota Vikings for the third round of the next draft.
Wow, I definitely needed to learn more about him.
Yeah, you did, but I still can't believe that Randy Moss was named Most Outstanding Football Player.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, we have none other than...
Me, talking about Wayne Gretzky.
Take it away, Ryder.
Swoosh. Another amazing goal for number 99, Wayne Gretzky, is what you would hear if you go to any of Wayne Gretzky's games. In this part, you will learn lots of amazing things about the hockey player Wayne Gretzky. Most people think that the most amazing thing about Wayne Gretzky is his knowledge of the game and ability to handle the puck. Wayne Gretzky was born in Ontario, Canada, January 26, 1961. He started skating at the age of 2 and started playing at the age of 6. His dad taught him how to play, and right when he got on the ice, he knew that this was his passion. 4 years later, when he was 10, he scored 378 goals. The next thing I'm going to talk about is his career. If you know anything about Wayne Gretzky, then you'll know how great of a career he had. He started his career at the age of 6 in 1967. He played with 10 and 11-year-olds in 1969. He was top scorer. Later, in 1978, he joined the Edmonton Oilers at the age of 17. He then went on to play for the Kings in 1988, then St. Louis Blues in 1996. Finally, he went on to play 3 seasons with the New York Rangers before finishing his career in 1999. Do you know how many cool facts about Wayne Gretzky? I'll tell you just a few of the amazing things Wayne Gretzky did. He was top scorer. He had 93 assists and 894 goals. And only one other person was able to reach 800 plus. It was Gordie Howe with 801 goals. After he retired, he married Janet Jones and had 5 kids. Hopefully he keeps the hockey spirit going. In conclusion, you'll figure out how great of a hockey player Wayne was, and now you can say you know who the greatest hockey player of all time was.
Wow, I didn't know that Wayne Gretzky had the most goals of any hockey player.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly why I picked him.
Yeah, super cool. But if you didn't love that, then maybe you might like Olivia sharing about sea turtles.
Hey.
Go ahead, Olivia.
Sea turtles are fascinating sea creatures. These reptiles have existed for over 1 million years. They lived back during dinosaur time. Can you believe that? Not all sea turtles are omnivores. In fact, most are actually carnivores. Green sea turtles eat a lot of plants like kelp, coral, and sea pickles. They are mostly herbivores. Other sea turtles eat fish, jellyfish, and shrimp. Sometimes they mistake a plastic bag for their favorite food, jellyfish. Some apparently die from that. You can find a sea turtle in any warm area. They especially like coral reefs because they can find fish, coral, and hide from predators. They like to lay their eggs at night because not many predators will get them. The eggs hatch at night. They hop into the water and let the waves take them away. Sea turtles are on their own as soon as they hatch. They eventually come back to lay eggs of their own. Sea turtles are all different shapes and sizes. They are as small as 2 inches and as big as 8 feet. They reached adulthood at 10 years old and lived to 80 years. Their large shells cover their body and act like their house. There are many interesting facts about sea turtles. Did you know that they can eat twice their body weight in one day? That's like a person eating 20 sandwiches a day. Do you know that Oliver Riley sea turtles' shells are heart-shaped? A lot of sea turtles have sharp underwater vision. They can smell their food underwater. There are so many fun facts about sea turtles. Sea turtles are really amazing sea creatures. There are many amazing things to learn about them. They're really cool reptiles.
Wow, I learned so much about sea turtles from that.
I know, it was so cool. But next up we have Ricky sharing about the tragedy of 9/11.
Your turn, Ricky.
Thank you, Ryder and Lauren. Picture this. You're walking around and minding your own business. Suddenly, bang, the tower you were standing next to got hit by a plane. Well, that's what hundreds of people had witnessed in 9/11. 9/11 was a terrible event that had left millions of people in shock. If you're interested, listen in for the best story of your life. Let's start off with this. What are the Twin Towers? The Twin Towers are 2 towers in New York City, New York, that have fallen victim to the unfaithful day of September 11th. When the towers got struck, the South Tower fell before the North, even though the North Tower got hit first. Did you know that the Twin Towers were built to survive a plane crash? But that wouldn't make sense, would it? Well, let me provide an answer. The towers didn't fall from a plane crash. No. It fell because the fuel melted the metal, therefore lowering the stability and having it fall. If you're wondering about debris, then I got you covered, even though you're probably not. It took at least 49 days to pick up all the rubble and it burnt the whole time. The damage was so diabolical that the debris spread through a 14.7 acre radius. Wait a minute. Who was responsible for this, though? Well, Al-Qaeda is. Al-Qaeda is a terrorist group from Afghanistan that is infamous for 9/11 and other events, such as the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, where Al-Qaeda planted bombs around the Twin Towers. Osama bin Laden was the cruel leader of Al-Qaeda. He was hunted down after 9/11 in a mission, but wasn't caught until 2011. This mission was called the War on Terror. Now that you have learned about 9/11, wouldn't you want to travel there? You could see the hole where the Twin Towers once stood.
Wow, I had no idea how bad 9/11 was.
Moving away from that, we have
Me.
Yeah, and Lauren is sharing about bottlenose dolphins. How cool can dolphins be?
Hey!
Anyway, dive into it, Lauren.
Have you ever seen a bottlenose dolphin? If you have seen a dolphin, then it was probably a bottlenose dolphin. They're cute, smart, and friendly and can leap 16 feet out of the water. We can now talk about what these amazing mammals look like. They're 6 to 13 feet long and usually weigh 330 to 440 pounds, but sometimes they can even weigh twice that much. Well, they are big, aren't they? They have smooth and rubbery skin, which is light gray on the sides, pinkish on their belly, and dark gray on their back. Like sharks, they have a tall, pointed dorsal fin, and like whales, they have a blowhole. Their name comes from their short, stubby snout that looks like the top of a glass bottle. They're great for pictures because of their built-in smile that comes from the lower jaw sticking out past their upper lip. With their thin, powerful flukes, which is what their tails are called, they blast themselves through the water with an up and down motion. Now we can move away from their appearance and start talking about their diet. Bottlenose dolphins love to devour squids, shrimps, crustaceans, and a wide variety of fish. They use echolocation to find their prey and a variety of techniques to hunt them, such as herding them into a cluster, slapping them in the air with their flukes to stun them, and rubbing them on the ocean floor to break them down. They grab their prey with their 50 to 100 teeth to swallow them whole. Now we can finally talk about these adorable and friendly sea creatures' behavior. They live in groups with males and females of all ages called pods that include 2 to 15 members. They communicate with each other by clicks, whistles, tail slaps, and echolocation. To breathe air, they leap across the water, and to conserve energy, they love to ride waves created by fast-moving ships. Bottlenose dolphins are also so friendly that they often swim with other aquatic creatures like whales and porpoises. To conclude, bottlenose dolphins are super amazing, smart, and kind creatures. They eat many small creatures of the sea, swim with other aquatic animals, and ride the waves of fast-moving ships.
Wow, that was so much better than I anticipated.
See, I told you!
Yeah, I know.
Moving away from that, we have Maeve talking about bird-eating spiders. Yuck!
Swing into it, Maeve. Get it? Swing, spiders.
Yeah.
Hi guys, today I'm going to tell you about bird-eating spiders. Did you know that bird-eating spiders are the largest species of tarantulas on Earth? I know you really want to know how big they are, so just keep on listening. As I said, you might be wondering how big the bird-eating spider really is. Well, this hairy beast is the size of a basketball, which is 7.5 centimeters wide, and has a wingspan up to 10 inches long. Imagine that crawling down the back of your spine. They have 8 tiny eyes and sharp fangs located on the front of their bodies. They also have 8 hairy legs attached to the lower portion of their bodies. That is not all. The bird-eating spider has little prickly coarse hairs. These help the bird-eating spider catch their prey by picking up vibration that are near. A couple things that they eat are frogs, birds, snakes, moths, and other spiders. You might be asking, well, how do they defend themselves and catch their prey? Well, I'm about to answer your question. The bird-eating spider defends itself by raising its body and striking their prey, and attacks with a nice gush of venom from its fangs. This creature lives in northern South America, in the tropical rainforest, in a big nest or burrow underground. I hope you learn a lot about the bird-eating spider. If you live in northern South America, look out for those dangerous pests.
That was disgusting but cool.
Yeah, but sadly, we have to go.
Bye!
Hi, I'm Avery.
And this is Jocelyn here.
And this is
Cheesy Frog Toe News. As you know, we're really good at giving you the latest news of what's going on in our awesome world right now.
Today we have 7 people telling us about some very interesting things. First up, we have Brody talking about the amazing Wayne Gretzky. Over to you, Brody.
Did you know that Wayne Gretzky scored 894 goals in his entire career? He played with the Oilers for 10 years. I hope you learn more about Wayne Gretzky. First, I'm going to talk about Wayne Gretzky's early life. He was born on January 26, 1961 in Ontario, Canada. When Gretzky was only 2 years old, he started skating. He was only 6 and he was playing with 10-year-olds. Gretzky's dad was obsessed with hockey and wanted him to love it too. Next, I'm going to talk about Gretzky's hockey career. Wayne started playing professional hockey at 17 in the WHL, World Hockey Association. He moved up to play with the Edmonton Oilers in the NHL. Gretzky played for a lot of teams like the Los Angeles Kings, Edmonton Oilers, St. Louis Blues, and the New York Rangers. Last, I'm going to talk about Gretzky's records. Some include most goals in a season, which is 92, also most points in a season. Points are goals and assists combined, and became the NHL's all-time leading scorer. It is crazy how good Wayne Gretzky is. To think about all the goals he scored and how many assists he had, it's really crazy. Did you learn anything about Wayne Gretzky? I hope you did. Bye.
Wow, I did not know that Wayne Gretzky got that many goals.
That is a lot of goals. Next up, we have Avery telling us about dance. Can't wait to learn more. Take it away, Avery.
Have you ever been to a recital or a dance show? Well, the people in those dances work really hard to learn all of the dance. Today I'm going to talk about 3 different topics of dance, starting with history. If you want to learn more about dance, keep listening. Humans have expressed themselves with dance for thousands of years. Dance has slowly just begun in all cultures. In the late 20th century, people started using jazz and tap for inspiration. Dance has become a source of entertainment for a lot of people.
Now I'm going to be talking about two different famous people that danced. First is Viviana Durante. She was born in Rome in 1967. She began training at the Royal Ballet School in 1984 and became principal in 1989. Next is Adam Cooper. He was born in London in 1972. He also trained at the Royal Ballet School, but in 1989. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the types of dances. There are 6 different types of dances. There's concert, tribal, ethnic, folk, social, and modern. Modern dance includes jazz, hip-hop, tap, and more. Next time you go to a dance recital or a dance show, you will know a lot more about dance. You will also probably enjoy seeing modern, folk, social, and all the other types of dances more as well. I recommend you watch the Nutcracker because it's very interesting and entertaining.
Man, I really want to see the Nutcracker after that. It sounds awesome.
It's totally worth it. Now we have Jocelyn here to tell us about an amazing monument, Mount Rushmore. Buckle up, we're taking a trip to South Dakota.
Did you know that Mount Rushmore has 20,000 visitors a day? Wow, that's a lot. Do you want to know why? Because it has the 4 most important presidents in the U.S. You might want to know how Mount Rushmore got its name and all that stuff, but let me tell you something first. The Black Hills first belonged to the Lakota tribe. It was sacred land to them. The U.S. had rumors that there was gold on that land, so people looked and looked for gold and finally found some. Once the gold was found, the U.S. stole the land from the Lakota. Mount Rushmore got its name because a New York lawyer was walking by and asked the person he was walking with the name of the mountain. The person said it doesn't have one. Then he jokingly said Rushmore, and it stuck. The carving of Mount Rushmore was a big challenge. Work began in October in 1927. Some materials that were used to carve Mount Rushmore were drills, dynamite, and jackhammers. Before we get into more details, let me tell you who carved and directed the carving of Mount Rushmore. It was Ghazan Borglum. You know how I told you that carving Mount Rushmore was a challenge? Well, let me tell you one challenge Ghazan Borglum faced. He started carving Jefferson's head and found that the rock was too soft to continue carving, so he had to blow up Jefferson's head and restart it on the other side. Even though Mount Rushmore looks like it's complete, it is not. Ghazan wanted to make their whole body, but the government stopped giving them money in order to continue carving. Okay, now let us get to what the monument looks like and how big it is. Mount Rushmore is 1,278 acres. When you get there, you will walk through the 50 state flags up to the monument. Also, there's a trail that gives you a closer look at Mount Rushmore. The mountain has a historic sculpture studio where you can learn a little bit more about Mount Rushmore. I hope you like learning about Mount Rushmore. Now that you know more, do you want to go and visit? It's a really beautiful place.
Cool. I did not know that so many people visit Mount Rushmore.
I know, right? All right, now moving on to Anthony, here to give us some information on Freddie Adu. Tell us more, Anthony.
Freddie Adu is one of the best soccer players in the world. Freddie is good at faking people out. Freddie was born on June 2nd, 1989 in Ghana at age 6. He played soccer at age 8. He moved to the U.S. at age 10. He played for the Potomac Tigers. He is the best youngest player in MLS history. He attended school with the U17 national team. In a little over 2 years, the left-footed wonder scored a team-best 57 goals in 87 games. He received an offer to play Major League Soccer, MLS, for the Washington, D.C. United. Selected Freddie as the first-year player draft that he can easily fake a move. Freddie's salary is $500,000 per season, the highest in MLS history, youngest player in MLS history, the best youngest player in the world. Once he started playing in the MLS league, he made a salary. I love soccer because of how fun it is to play. Soccer is my favorite sport, and it is the most fun sport to me. Soccer is called football in every country except ours, and that is why I love soccer. What is your favorite sport?
I did not know that he was the youngest and best soccer player.
I didn't either.
Now passing it on to Sam to share some cool things about cats.
I'm kind of scared for this one. I heard that cats have really sharp claws.
I am too, but Sam has no fear when it comes to cats. Passing it to you, Sam.
Did you know that cats scratch their claws on trees to mark their territory? Now we are going to talk more about cats. There is an Egyptian painting that shows cats hunting and drinking out of bowls, and they all belong to the same family of cats, but small domestic cats belong to the family of Felis catus. Also, you humans have lived with cats over 5,000 years. The first breed were long-haired cats. They lived in Europe. And the short-haired cats have different names, like American short-hair, and the hairless cats are called the Sphinx. The long-haired cats and short-haired breeds mixed together are called the American Curl and Manix. Cats like to kill mice and rats, and they eat them, and also commercial cat foods and a bowl of water and some other things that they eat. Aren't cats cool? I hope you want to have a pet cat someday.
I guess cats aren't that scary after all.
I guess not. Hey Jocelyn, what's your favorite color?
Oh, my favorite color is purple. What's yours?
My favorite color is green.
Hold on, aren't we supposed to be doing a newscast?
Oh yeah. Anyways, next up we have Jacob talking to us about the praying mantis.
I don't really like that bugs. They creep me out.
They're not that bad, Jocelyn. Over to you, Jacob.
Have you ever seen a mantid? They can be found in your very own backyard. I'm about to share with you some cool things about mantids. I hope you enjoy listening. Mantids are a type of insect that are usually brown or green and have interesting features that make them different than other insects. Did you know that their arms are actually longer than their legs? This is so they can easily grab their next meal. Mantids are around 2 inches in size. They are brave, strong, and stealthy insects. They have the ability to turn their heads so they are able to see just about anything. All things considered, the features of a mantid are really cool, and I hope that other people will think that they are cool too. If you were a mantid, what would you find to eat? Most mantids can eat insects, birds, or reptiles, and even each other. When a mantid eats, they eat the head of their prey first. This allows for their food to be much easier to eat. To get to their prey, they sneak up behind them to attack and give the element a surprise. That sounds pretty scary to me. There are over 1,000 types of mantids all over the world. 3 of my favorite mantids are the flower mantis, the whalebird mantis, and the Bruner stick mantis. Flower mantids are known for looking like a flower. This allows them to camouflage into a flower, making other insects to be confused. Next, a whalebird mantis looks like prey to other insects. The pattern on its body tricks insects to thinking it's something that it's not. Lastly, the Bruner stick mantis is a very tall and skinny insect that looks like a stick. In conclusion, I think these facts make a mantid a very special insect based on their ability and what they can do. I hope you enjoy these facts and have learned a little more about mantids.
Thanks, Jacob, for sharing all the information.
Maybe Jocelyn won't be scared anymore.
Hey, don't be mean. I'm not as scared after Jacob told us about the praying mantis.
Yeah, right.
Finally, we have Gio here to help us learn more about football. Passing the ball to you, Gio.
Have you ever been to a football game before? Do you know where football started? I do. Let me tell you. Football started in England. Ancient Greek played a form of it. Natives played football. The U.S. played using a blown-up bladder. In the 1970s, the Vikings earned the nickname the Purple People Eaters. The Vikings won every game, but during a regular season in 1998, they also set an NFL record by scoring 556 points. The game is played on a field 100 yards long, and so 553.3 yards wide. There are 2 teams. There are 11 players on each team on the field at a time. Offense, run and throw the ball. Defense, tackle the guy. Randy Moss started in 1998 as a rookie with 17 touchdowns in 1 season. And he was one of the best wide receivers with 5 receptions, and he ran 190 yards. Randy Moss is my favorite player from the Vikings. I hope you enjoy learning about football. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.
Wow, the Vikings are a really good team, I guess.
Yeah, 556 points is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it's time to wrap it up. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.